So I decided as I came back with Vanguard Dear Days 2 that I would also take a look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel as well. Well, kind of a lie. I actually kind of decided to test out Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel first. I've been kind of getting into a bit of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Mood recently with a lot of posts and miscellaneous things I've been seeing about it, and it kind of got me a bit nostalgic, so I wanted to check it out because of that. And well, while I was at it, there was a new Vanguard game to also play, so it's actually kind of the other way around here. I'm not really sure how I'm going to be covering this game really, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So this video, the point of this one is to be testing out deck building. So I've already made a start on building my first deck, and I kind of wanted to, 3 years into this game, take a look at what it would be like for a new player who doesn't have any experience with the game, kind of test out and give their thoughts on building the first deck. One of the things I've heard a lot of Master Duel players talk about is the idea that if you're a free-to-play player, you can build your first good deck without spending any real world money. And I wanted to take a look at and kind of examine that sort of theory and give my thoughts on the game as a whole as well. I'm not really here to guide you through the game necessarily, but more so just kind of show what I've been doing. So let's start by going into the shop actually. One of my theories and kind of complaints with this game is that it's the opposite of hand-holdy. It doesn't really tell you what to do, it just kind of throws you into a really basic tutorial. And then once you finish that tutorial, you're just kind of left there to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is like fine, and I think there's definitely an appeal for that. But as someone who hasn't really played Yu-Gi-Oh! Properly since Zaxel was the current one, I was kind of lost a bit. So I kind of wanted to give like some of my kind of like thought process going into this game and see if any Yu-Gi-Oh! Players out there kind of gain any insight from that, I guess. Kind of get the real experience of what it's like to see a returning player for Yu-Gi-Oh! Jump into this game 3 years into its release. So as you can see here, there's the structure decks. They cost 500 gems. I'd say that's a pretty good value because it's like 100 gems for an average card pack. So it's 5 packs for one deck. Now obviously anyone who knows anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, including myself, knows that you get free structure decks, basically. When you're building your first Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, one of the best things you can do is take a structure deck, an already pre-constructed one, and get free of it. I don't actually know if I needed free of it, to be completely honest. I think most of these cards I only ended up using 2 of at most. Maybe there's a couple of these that I ended up using free of, but I'm not certain. We'll go into my actual deck list in a bit. So I picked dragonmaid order because it's the one visually that stood out the most to me, the maid girls. I think I vaguely remember people a few years ago saying that dragonmaids were good. But I don't know if they still are, but hopefully they are, because this is where I admit that I have been neck decking. So what I did immediately after buying that deck was I took what I felt were the strongest cards in the deck and I put 3 copies of those cards in the deck, and then I had a deck basically. And I went onto the online ranked mode and got absolutely destroyed. There's my bra deck, by the way. That's the experience most people had, right? Most people go into duel and then they play a duel and they just get absolutely demolished, right? That's exactly what I had, and I do think it's kind of an issue with the game. Now you can see the exclamation mark next to solo. That's because I haven't done all the solo missions, and yes, I know that you are supposed to do the solo missions before you do anything else, but I want to talk about my journey building decks and stuff anyway first. So anyway, that's without further ado, let's actually get into the deck. I called it Meta DM deck because it's a meta dragonmaid deck. At least I hope it's meta. I don't actually know if it is. So yeah, this is where I admit that I have been net decking. So immediately after taking that massive loss, I just decided to look up dragonmaid deck lists online. One of the reasons I hesitated making this video, there were a few reasons, but one of the reasons I hesitated making this video is because I was like, is it really that interested to make a deck building video where I just admit that I net decked? And yeah, it's a little less interesting, sure, but I still think there's enough to talk about here that it's justified anyway. There's a lot of different like mechanics and things I like, things I don't like to kind of go through. I will, of course, be linking the website I got the deck list from in the description and encourage that you check it out. I don't want to be like stealing deck lists or anything like that. And Lord knows I definitely don't want to be taking credit for decklist. Why does that only have 2 next to it? Is my decklist already outdated? God damn it. Well, we'll worry about that later. This deck isn't in a playable state anyway. Now, I know you're probably supposed to go into ranked mode with an incomplete, not great deck and grind it enough until you get the materials to finish the deck anyway, but I want to see how far I can get in building the deck before I commit to doing that. I haven't even finished solo mode yet, so I'm sure there's plenty to do. And plus, I've been busy. I haven't played much of this game. I was gonna say, and I've also played like 10 hours, but like 10 hours in the grand scheme of things ain't that much, considering most of it was just grinding through solo mode, which I still am not even close to finishing. So this is the deck I shamelessly stole from the internet. And it's mostly ultra rares. Most of the cards from this that I had from buying the free structure decks. And that did get me a very far through there. Although, yeah, I'm not really sure I needed free copies of the deck. I guess I did for this and for this. But those are super rares, and like I've got enough to craft a couple super rares anyway, so. But yeah, the one thing I do want to talk about is that like I've been playing Duel Links on the side, and by on the side I mean I've actually been playing Duel Links more than I've been playing Master Duel. And I've been using dragonmaid in that too, because I believe that also has a dragonmaid starter deck, and that one I really did just commit to putting the best cards from the starter deck into my deck and just kind of going out there, and I've been having way more success with that because that's a much easier game. But because of that, the deck looks very different here. No maxis in the Duel Links deck. None of this extra deck, really, other than House Dragonmaid. Very interesting. I wasn't expecting a Dragonmaid deck to have Stardust Dragon in the deck list. But yeah, first thing I did was I crafted 3 maxis after getting the structure decks here, because I know it's one of the most powerful cards in the game. And looking at its effect, it does seem like a pretty powerful card. Unfortunately, in the time it's taken to make this, it's already been limited, so that's great. I'll worry about what I'm swapping that out with later. Maybe the deck list that I've linked in the description has been updated again to cover that. I don't know, I haven't checked. Okay, 13 ultra rares away isn't too bad. So assuming this is one good deck, do I think that you can build one as a free-to-play player? Yeah, probably. Especially if you are more willing to grind, and at least at first, with an incompleted version of the deck, because obviously the grayed out ones are cards I don't have. I should have said that sooner. So I could probably replace those with generic vanilla cards that I do have, and I don't know, could I climb? I could probably at least complete like missions to get more gems. So okay, you're probably wondering, how do you get more cards then, right? Because I need these ones that are grayed out. So you see these materials at the top. These all represent different rarities: normal, rare, super rare, and ultra rare. And you need 30 of those to craft a card of that rarity. You get it by dismantling a card here. Now, I'm like a little tempted to dismantle one of the maxis since it's limited to get 10 of my ultra rare back, which would give me enough to craft a different card. But I'm not going to touch the third maxi until I know what I'm going to do instead of it. But yeah, now the really interesting thing is you can dust basically any card that you pulled from a pack. Now, you can't dust literally every card, but you can dust most cards. The only ones you can't seem to dust are the ones that were just given to you for one reason or another, like promos, or like ones you unlocked via story mode and that kind of thing. So like Junk Warrior that the game just gave me, I can't dust. But most of the rest of the cards I have here, I can. Not effectively, because I got that from like a shop pack thing. I can dust this. Cyverse. I don't really think I'm using Cyverse. See, the thing is, I feel very antsy about dusting cards, but at the same time, if I'm wanting to build this deck, I should kind of just dust everything I don't need her. What is this, like, cool looking one? That's a nice holographic. Can you? No, I can't even dismantle it all. Okay. Some of the glossy ones give you like more material, which is neat. Sky Striker Hayate. I could probably dust this one. Let's just dust it, just to show off the mechanic. That way now my ultra has gone up from 20 to 30, so I can now successfully craft one of these. Let's go for this one, because this seems like a pretty good one. The one of these I already have, I got from like a pack thing. If you go on a card and you click how to obtain, it tells you how to get the card, which is neat. But the first one I got by buying this, but you can only buy one of it. It's like a set that comes with a bunch of cards and a promo. I know I'm not playing super efficiently here, by the way. I feel the need to point that out all the time. I'm kind of figuring out things as I go, and to me, I think that's the appeal of the video. Let's craft this. So you press generate. To me, that's kind of the appeal. Obviously, I will read comments and stuff like that to like read any advice that you guys have. So that's one more card that we've got. Deck builder is very nice and intuitive, by the way. I'm a big fan of how everything's laid out. So yeah, there's something I don't like. And what I don't like is how you obtain cards. So if you go on Bestial Rebellion, which is a card I've been trying to get copies of for a while, and you go how to obtain. So it'll say it's from a locked pack. Now here's when this is when I revealed that I actually did record basically this exact video before, like a week or so ago, but I ended up scrapping that version because the audio quality was very bad. Hopefully the audio quality is much better here. So whenever you open a pack, you get 4 random cards from the entire game, and then you get 4 cards from the actual set you're pulling. I have pretty mixed feelings about that, but at the very least, unlocking the other sets seems pretty quick. I haven't opened that many packs, and I've already unlocked a lot of sets. But like, the audio was really bit crushed, and I didn't want to listen to it, and I'm not going to put out a video that I don't want to listen to. That might be why my thoughts feel a little bit more put together now than they would usually, because I've done this before. In that video, I talked about how you obtain packs. So let's open some packs to show you. So there's one generic set, this one, the Master Duel Master Pack, right? And if you open packs from it, let's open 10 packs, why not, right? If you open packs from it, you will get cards from any set in the game. That's what Master Pack seems to be. It seems to be a generic set that basically has most of the cards in the game in it. But if you pull a card from a set, hopefully I should here, if you pull a card from a different set, you will get a key. Nice pack animation, everything, by the way. Yeah, see, those free keys. Those keys are the sets that the card is actually from. And now that I've got that key, I can now open packs from that specific set. Now, in my original recording, I praised this because I was like, oh, cool, now that I have the set, I can just pull the card I want directly. The problem is, it seems to be timed, because I don't have those packs anymore from the last time I recorded this. And I don't like that. I don't like having to constantly renew your ability to open specific sets. I think that's pretty scummy. Because here's the thing, right? I've unlocked like 5 sets so far, which is pretty quick, like for only opening like 3 or so packs. But the problem is you have to keep renewing it again. Okay, well, I criticized the game too harshly, and that super rare pack turned into an ultra rare one. That's the other thing that's interesting about this game too, right? And this is something I talked about in the original version. They've made a pack opening game that kind of like makes it so that you don't care what card you open from a pack, right? So as I mentioned, I have a bunch of ultra rare cards in my deck that I don't have yet. And in most card games, you want to open packs to get the card you want. Thing is, if you dust an ultra rare you don't want like this, it gives you 10 ultra rare like currency. And then you can use 30 of that currency to crack the card you want. So basically, I am much more likely, I would say at the moment, unless I was opening a specific set or whatever, I would be much more likely to just open any free ultra rare cards and then dust them to get the card I want than I would be to actually get the card I want. So they made a game where it doesn't really matter what card you open from a pack. I don't hate this. And in fact, I think this is kind of mandatory with how the fucking set unlocking thing works. And like, you get high rare cards commonly enough that it's not a big deal. Like, I've crafted most of the cards in my deck, if I'm completely honest. At least all of the ones that didn't come from the structure deck, I'm pretty sure I've crafted. And I'm like pretty close to at least finishing the main deck, if not the side deck. The side deck I'm pretty far off from doing, I guess, extra deck. But it is interesting. Of course, normals and rares are basically just crap and worthless. Which you would expect, right? You would expect common cards to be kind of worthless because you just have too much of that currency anyway. I guess pack opening is a good way of like figuring out what deck to play in future, because you could see a cool card like this one, and be like, oh, what's the deal with that one? Although most people aren't going to be doing that though, are they? They're going to be like looking up meta lists and stuff like that and net decking like I am. Or just looking at like structure decks. Okay, last pack. This one has a guaranteed ultra rare because of the rainbow border it had around it. So how many ultra rares do they get there? 2? That's a pretty good spell card, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I got 2 ultra rares, so that's 2/3 of 1 card. And secret card pack, these are the sets that I unlocked. But the problem is, they're just, my odds of actually getting the pack I want are pretty low. Now, if I'm correct, I think if you like craft a card from that set, it also unlocks that, but like you have to keep crafting the card to keep renewing it. I should have more cards to dust. In fact, I probably have quite a lot of cards to dust. Like, I'm just gonna dust it. I'm just gonna dust any card that I don't think I need, which I know sounds like a pain in the ass, so I don't have any of these in my deck. So I can just dust it. I'm very grateful and happy that they let you build a deck with cards that you don't have so I can use it as a template to know what I'm looking for. So this one I don't need either. And that's now me 1 card closer to finishing my deck. So I guess I'll go for this one too. I not dismantle, generate. That's the thing. You can dismantle any card and then craft it back again, but the problem is that yeah, you're getting only 1/3 of the materials from dusting it. So if you dust the wrong card, you're just kind of screwed. Not a big problem though, because like, I mean, you should kind of be held accountable for that. Annoying that I can't dismantle this one. This must be a promo that it gave me for the anniversary or something, is my guess. I'm not the best at keeping track of how I got certain cards. The other annoying thing is this one here. I used to have like 4 copies of it, and I had to dismantle the rest. It was like the 1 card from my deck that I actually kept pulling reliably. That was back when I had the set that these cards are from actually unlocked, but now I believe it's still locked again. I guess I can check by going on how to obtain. And yes, still currently locked. I think the faster way of unlocking that set is by crafting one of the cards from the set. Oh, I've got missions. Nice. Nice. So just opening more packs will give me more gems. Cool. Awesome. That's good to know. Let's go into... So I've got 1,100 gems right now. I can probably get more stuff. I'm okay with just spending most of my gems. I recently bought the, like, battle pass thing. So, like, I can afford to spend the rest of my gems as far as I'm aware. I probably should be so that I can get my deck put together soon enough that I can take advantage of the battle pass thing that I bought. Let's open these. Because why not? Are these the packs you only get a couple of cards from each? Because I've opened a few of these before. Yeah, okay. So these are like less interesting to open. I'm probably not going to get anything super exciting here. Yeah, mainly just normals. A rare, which is still not really worth much to me. I'm sure having the rares is like good for when you do want to build a second deck, but I'm not thinking about building a second deck yet. Okay, this one at least has a super rare. Ooh, 2 super rares. Nice. I don't think I need super rares though. I think it's literally just the ultra rares I need. The other thing that's funny is how many of the cards in my deck that I net decked are just all ultra rares. But hey, that's Yu-Gi-Oh for you. Actually, something you kind of have to get used to. There were like, yeah, if you go into like special, there were like other things you could do. Kind of want one of these, but these are quite expensive. Limited to 1 per player. If that's limited to 1 per player, that means it's probably pretty good, right? And master packs and the Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon mate. I don't think I want the mate, but if it's only 1 per player, I should still probably get it anyway, right? So I'm okay with just opening these packs. Why not? I'm sure Yu-Gi-Oh fans are here like screaming at me for opening like the wrong packs, but it's okay. I'm just gonna dust everything I get anyway. The only important thing is actually pulling any ultra rares in the first place. Like I said, I know I'm not playing super efficiently, but I think, to be fair to the game, I think that it is giving me enough resources to build at least a somewhat playable version of the deck, even if not a fully completed one with the like fully maxed out extra deck. My theory, as someone who hasn't actually playtested a deck yet, is that the extra deck isn't like there are probably a couple of cards in the extra deck that are actually useful, and the rest are just for like very niche specific scenarios. So I probably don't need those ones yet anyway. So that's like fine. And if I ever do run out of materials outright, I'll just find a way of playing around that. But I'm hoping to complete this deck soon and then be able to actually try out ranked mode. Hey, there we go, Ultra S, that's 1/3 of a card. Unfortunately, I think that's like the only one I've gotten so far. So out of this 10 pull, I've only got 1/3 of a card I need, which is pretty stingy. I feel like my rates were better than that before. But hey, what can you do, right? Nothing from here? Nope. And at least 2 super rares? Yep. Yep. I like the animation thing, by the way, where like the rarer the card is, the longer it takes to turn around like that. That's quite cute. Yeah, okay, so I've only got 1/3 of a card I need. No, I don't want to play. Thank you for asking. I've already got the dragonmaid one to match with my deck. That's the other thing too. As you probably noticed throughout this video, I've been like buying a lot of like cosmetics and shit, which I probably shouldn't have been if my priority is building a deck, but like what's the point of playing if I'm not going to be pretty about it? I mean, I could spend the extra 100 gems, but I'll keep a hold of them for now. Save those back up so that I can get actually good stuff again. And then yeah, I've still got solo mode here too. I'm sure that if I play more of solo mode and finish it, I'll be able to get more materials and stuff for the deck. Probably. So yeah, how's our deck looking? What ultra rares do we have to dust? Unfortunately, we're just gonna have to go through every single ultra rare. So this one we can dust. I apologize in advance if any of the cards I'm about to dust is like extremely good. So I can't dust that. I don't want to dust that. I don't want to dust that. Don't want to dust yet, although I probably will want to later. So yeah, I'm kind of on my own at the moment if I can't find a way of getting more gems. I still think like this is a lot of the deck. If we're mainly focusing on the main deck and not the extra deck, like this is pretty good still. I could probably swap out the rest of these for like generic dragonmaid cards I got from like the starter deck or whatever, and hopefully have a deck good enough to grind with, at least to grind the rest of the materials I need. But I'll look into that off screen. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building is like an exact science. It's either a good deck or it's a bad deck. And you're always like one card away from that difference. I thought that it would be cool to kind of go through my thoughts on the deck building and how like beginner friendly I think it is. I think it's relatively beginner friendly, considering that I've been doing most of this outside of the net decking. I've mainly just been using my common sense for everything else. So I would say that getting this far on my own with just my common sense, I would say the average new player with a guide probably could build their first deck pretty painlessly and stress-free as a free-to-play player. And obviously, you know, you can pay, but like my full process with these like TCG games is usually if I'm gonna pay for the physical card instead of digital ones. That's my full process anyway. I guess the last thing I'll go through quickly is the like paid battle pass thing. So it costs like 750 gems, which is like 7.5 packs. But the normal you get like the free just by playing, and then the ones at the bottom you get by having the paid version. The paid version being something that you can afford and get pretty easily just for being a free-to-play player. I think it's very good. And you mainly get like gems and crafting materials and stuff like that. You get a lot more of them if you get the paid thing, huh? I think the crafting materials are probably the reason you'd want to get this. It's actually quite a dry battle pass compared to other games. Because like there's the like profile icon border thing. But like outside of that, most of the rest of it's just like gems and crafting materials. So because of that, I probably am going to want to actually go into ranked mode to try and get some of this stuff. The wallpaper is just the main menu thing you have. Not a big deal. I'm not really looking to get another one of those. Yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of crafting material. The amount of ultra rare crafting material you get from this is probably quite high. I haven't actually counted. I don't know. I haven't done the math, but I imagine it's probably worth getting. You probably make back your money fairly quickly from doing that, which is good. So yeah, that's probably going to be where I leave it for now for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I'm very interested in coming back later once I've made more progress in my deck and I'm ready to actually play the game. But I thought I would just give my kind of quick opinions on what it's like to get started in Master Duel. It's a little frustrating and a little obtuse, but I think I'm managing to make it work. And I'm looking forward to playing more of the games. So yeah, be sure to like, comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to give me any advice or anything like that you have, and tell me the dragon maids are actually the worst deck ever made and I've just wasted all of my materials on it. That'll be fun. And yeah, I'll see you later. Remember, for every statement, there's always an asterisk. See ya.